What's good, y'all? It's your boy Frankie T. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the predictions that I made on the United States dollar, which I mentioned in the video previously on the November 3rd mark this date video. But essentially, the US dollar has been going crazy for the past week or so. It's been dropping this week, and it's kind of dropped, which is why we've seen the crypto rising. Crypto has been going crazy, but I wanted to kind of put attention to what might happen next, and also what people don't really understand when it comes to the United States dollar. So the DXY, the United States dollar, is something that I don't think a lot of people really look at when they're looking when it comes to stocks and when it comes to crypto or even Forex sometimes. And what the United States dollar is, the DXY, is the measure of the value of the United States dollar versus the main currencies, which you have the CHF, that's the Swiss franc, the Japanese yen, the Great British pound, the euro, the New Zealand dollar, and the Australian dollar, and the Japanese yen, if I didn't already mention that. But these are all key currencies, that are being measured against the US dollar. So when the US dollar is going up, that means against, when the US dollar is going up, that means against these currencies that I just mentioned, the US dollar is appreciating against them. If the US dollar is going down, the US dollar index, DXY, is going down, that means these currencies are appreciating against the US dollar. So now, the key thing, what I said in my last video was that if the Fed tapers, which we found out that the Fed tapered, and they're going to be tapering $10 billion a month on buying mortgage-backed securities, and they're and their treasuries. So with that happening, as I said in the previous video, I said that if that happens, the US dollar might start to see a spike, because that means that the Fed is going to start printing less money to buy these assets, and that should make the United States dollar rise. Another key thing with the United States dollar is that when it comes to, and this is kind of pertaining with Forex, when it comes to the interest rate is a key player in the economy. The interest rate is what decides how the market is going to be flowing, if things are going to be moving, if people are going to be spending a lot of money. When the interest rates are as low as it is in the time that we are in, people are getting debt for cheap. If you're rich, you can just take on a whole bunch of debt because it's going to be so cheap to pay that debt. So the economy is going to be moving like crazy. That's why we're seeing, it's part of the reason why we see the inflation has been going crazy. A lot of things at your store, your local stores, has been, getting more expensive. If you couldn't tell all this time, you must be living under a rock if you haven't. But these are really key players. So if the interest rate is going up, as what they're talking about, they're looking to raise the rates between that mid 2020 towards the end of 2020, or even into 2023, as what they were saying, the Fed, that is, that can cause the US dollar to really spike up, because that means if you're holding US dollars and you put your money in an account or in the bank or whatever, you're going to get more interest for that money because the interest rate is higher. You know what I'm saying? So that to outside investors, outside the country, that is, they're going to look at the US dollar as a more valuable currency, because now they're paying, you can get a higher interest, just makes it, the currency, look stronger. So with what I said there, I was able to see that once I heard about the Fed talking about the tapering, we were now able to, get in our buys on the US dollar and see crypto completely crash down. And I know crypto didn't only crash down just because of the US dollar going up, but it was also because of the fears when it came to the coronavirus, the new strain, which is the next thing I was going to talk about, because this strain is also a key player. If this is going to be as serious as the hysteria was in 2020, which, to be honest with you, it's crazy times, man. But if this really comes back to times in 2020 where the same hysteria in March of 2020, where businesses shut down and stuff like that, we should start to see a spike in the United States dollar. Because remember, the United States dollar is the reserve currency in the world. If you go back to 2020, if you go into your chart, go to TradingView, go to back in 2020, you heard about the pandemic and the coronavirus and stuff like that, you saw the dollar completely spike up. And when the US dollar spikes up, that means stocks are generally, not all the time, but generally stocks, crypto and stuff like that are going to come down. So you want to be always vigilant in seeing that. And in 2020, when you saw that huge spike of the US dollar, you saw the stock market was going crazy. People were going crazy. The stock market dropped like 35% in like a month or so. Like, it was wild. There's a whole bunch of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, that FUD. And this is what literally is are the things that are playing out in the economy. So it's good to really just look and see what the US dollar is doing. And the US dollar is going up, it can really tell you about what's going to happen with crypto or all these other asset classes. The US dollar is going down, that means the US dollar is losing its value, so all the assets are going up, which, as we saw in 2020 though, as that spike happened, the US dollar started to trend down as time went by. The US dollar just completely got hammered because of the stimulus payments, the forbearance, all these things that were free money. So much money was just being printed and printed and printed. You had the child tax credits going on, which kind of added more into the whole devaluing of the US dollar. So now that we're going in the opposite, the opposite's happening now, where they're looking on scaling back on those purchases, we can start to see maybe some strength happen. And if the coronavirus fears really get to peak hysteria, people go towards currencies they feel like is valuable. The US dollar is a currency that people feel like it's valuable, which is why it's the reserve currency of the world. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see the dollar start to shoot up if this really happens. I will kind of give an update on that. As time goes by, we'll see what happens. But this is why, for me, since we did 2020, we had really serious drops in the US dollar. This is why I'm thinking that 2022, we might start to see the stock market to crash, because the US dollar is going to start to trend up and take back all the losses it did last year and start to retrace from all of that, which we're seeing. So, I don't know. I'm still waiting to see what's going to happen. I'm hearing policies and stuff with the Fed may change, but I'll definitely give you guys updates. But if you guys love the content, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. I put videos like this every week. I'm working on doing every week, but I thank everybody for watching. You guys have a wonderful day. Stay clear cut and concise in everything you do.